What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. We are out here at Scrapyard in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm throwing 3 new discs that I am really excited about. We've got, first of all, the new Ice Orbit Escapes. You guys know that I love throwing the Stag, and I can throw it pretty far, but it's only, I don't even know what the speed is on the Stag, but it's not as fast as an Escape, which is a 9-speed. And so my goal with this Escape is having this be a disc that I can work a little bit more at distance. With it being a -1-2, I think that's gonna create that opportunity. The disc feels incredible. I've already thrown it a couple of times and it just feels really good. So we're gonna get that going. I am super stoked on this disc. A Moonshine Orbit Felon. Like, look how freaking sick that thing is. It is not as stable as like an ice. Like you can see that it's kind of gummy. And typically when a disc is like this, it's not gonna be as stable. So we're gonna see how it flies, see if we can have some fun with it. And then this last one is the Honor. This has been out for a little bit. I didn't get my hands on one and didn't throw it, but I'm excited for this because obviously I love the Royal lineup. And this is another fairway driver. So obviously we have the Glory and then now the Honor. And I believe this is a 0.2.5. I could be off with that, but we're gonna be throwing some forehands, some backhands with this today. And we're gonna mix in some other discs like the Stag to do some comparisons. Should be a fun video for you guys. Let's get into it. Okay, so with this Felon, I'm gonna try and throw it right down the middle, flat. And it should push straight for a while for me, and then stable up down towards the basket. Oh, see it turn though? I do not know how that snuck through. That was not a good shot. Now I'm gonna throw a regular Felon for you guys so y'all can see the comparison if I try and throw it the same. See that? So I tried to throw that flat on the exact same line. All right, so we got extremely lucky with this shot, honestly. Cutting through all the woods. It's gonna be tough getting the idea that that's a Felon out of my head. And so I'm gonna have to figure out angle control on that compared to Felons. But let's see if we can catch this one, huh? Man, really? Oh, okay. Par on this, which is a forehand hole, but again, I don't know. These Felons are gonna be interesting to throw. Okay, so this hole is 353. You wanna throw it pretty much dead straight and then have it miss the trees on the right, stable up towards the basket. So I'm gonna throw all 3 of the discs here. The Escape is the more realistic play here. I'm gonna throw it flat just so you guys can watch this. And we're gonna hope that maybe it'll go a little bit right, but if not, that it just pushes fairly straight for us and can give us a look for a birdie. You can see it stand up just a little bit there mid-flight. I did not throw that flat. That was on Anhyzer. I'm gonna throw the Honor on Annie, see what we can do with this one. That's a good shot. So that's kind of like an Explorer. I think it's like a 0.25. And then I want to throw this Felon on Annie as well. Like, that does not fly like a Felon. That's crazy. All right, so I'm also going to throw 2 Stags off of this tee, and then I'm going to throw a Bear so you guys can see. So the Stag is 8.6 -1.2. It's funny that I didn't know that. I feel like I thought it was like a 7-speed or something, or even a 6-speed. So we'll throw this one a little bit flat as well towards the tree in the middle. Hope that it pans a little bit right and then stables up towards the basket. Yeah, so that should be parked if it doesn't hit that. Oh yeah. Oh man, that one seemed like it was going to be right there for us. All right, so same thing with this Matteo Chameleon Stag, which actually is not as stable as you might think it is. Throw this flat down the middle. Should pan a little bit right and then work its way back. I didn't throw that flat at all, but you can see it stood up a little bit. pushing its way down there. I believe that these numbers on the Stag are pretty similar to the Escape, actually. And then I'm gonna throw this bear flat. I don't throw the bear too much, but I think we can probably make this thing do something. I turned that over. That wasn't flat at all. You can see a whole bunch of discs right here. We got the Escape right here. My Stag is right up there. And then over here, we've got the other Stag and the Honor. So they all kind of ended up in the same area. The Escape, I'm actually really excited to throw because I think it's gonna give me the ability to like put a little more power on a disc flat and not have it turn over. Go in the basket. That just went right behind it. That was ridiculous. All right. Keep on messing around with these and just seeing how they fly on different lines and stuff so y'all can learn a little bit about them. Okay, so on this hole, I like throwing flex lines. I aim at the trees on the left, throw it with the Annie. We're gonna do that with the Honor and the Felon here, and we're gonna see how they do. I actually think that the Felon could do pretty good here. So I'm excited to see how this one flies here. Aiming at the trees on the left with Annie, and I want it to stable up at the end of its flight. Stable up. Gosh, dude, it's not a Felon. We've established that. It is not a Felon because here is what an actual Felon would look like. Ooh. Stabling up really nice. And that thing, y'all, I'm serious, I've barely ever even thrown it. I just got it. I threw 2 shots with it in a round that I just played. So it's gonna be interesting figuring it out, but here's the thing about it. Like I said earlier, if you are someone who has wanted to throw the Felon because you like how it feels, because I think it's got a great feel, but it's too stable for you, this disc feels incredible. And it'll be a great introduction to like stable discs, I think. I'm gonna take the Honor now and throw a similar shot. Oh, I didn't give that any Annie because I was afraid. Okay, so this hole we want to get right around the corner. Typically you'll throw a putter or something. I'm gonna throw this Felon flat, and I honestly think that it'll end up in a pretty good spot for us. Dude, it pushes so straight. Like, that actually feels like an incredible shot on this hole. And now, I'm gonna throw the Honor flat as well. That one pushed a little bit straighter, but both of those are in really good spots. All right, now, I'm about 330 away here. This isn't any of my shots. I just wanted to try and throw the Escape here. I'm gonna take it, throw it on a little bit of Anhyzer, and see if it'll hold that down around the corner. I'm aiming at the tree line on the left. Stable up a little. I mean, it held it for me. My line was off, but I think it's really gonna be workable. All right, so the Honor is in a great spot here. I'm just gonna take my maiden and throw it down the left, flat, and it should turn right over towards the basket. Yes. Good job. And then the Felon is right over here, which we should have a fun shot from too. All right, so the Felon is a little bit cut off here. But honestly, what I want to do, I'm going to mark this with the Honor. Can I do this? Dang. I wanted to try and get an Annie shot with it. I guess I can probably do it from here. Let's see if we can make some magic happen here. Because this thing is not as stable as I thought, like I've said. So we'll see if this can hold an Annie down to the basket. Oh, it held the Annie. If that was a normal Felon, that thing would have flattened out and got over there. I also gave that an incredible amount of Annie. So it'll be a workable disc. I just have to get used to it. All right, so the Felon's right here. See if we can get an outside the circle putt here. Drop one in. Go ahead. All right. So this would have been a par. Let's see how the Honor would have done, because the Honor was in a good spot out there in the fairway, giving us this putt after our approach. Yes, sir. So good birdie there on that. Not really playing seriously out here. I just kind of want to see what we can put together with each of these discs. Okay, so typically I throw my bear on this hole. I am never going to throw the escape on a forehand, so I'm not going to try and throw the escape on a forehand here. If I were to throw my normal felon, I would throw it out on a lot of Anhyzer. This one, gosh, I want to just throw it flat, but I know that it's going to need some Annie, so I'm going to try and give it just a little bit because I know that it's going to hold that turn with how it's been flying. So let's see what this thing does here. Yeah, see? All right, so I went and got that because, I mean, that's not what we're trying to do. I'm trying to figure this disc out. I think I'm just going to throw it flat and hard, and I want to see what it does. So I'm going to treat this like my bear, which is crazy. Like, look, it went a little bit left. That's wild. So it is not flying like a felon. And again, that's okay, because there are lots of molds of discs that people get to where they're like, yo, this doesn't fly like this, but it's sick. For me, I use felons for a very specific thing. So the fact that it doesn't fly like a felon, it's hard for my mind to wrap itself around that. But like I said, if you're somebody who doesn't throw felons and you want something that is stable for maybe your slower arm speed or whatever it is, that disc feels incredible. Like, it feels so good, it looks dope, and it's flying good. It's just hard for me to disassociate it from felon, you know what I mean? But if you're somebody who also has a beat-in felon that you love and you lose it, this thing could replace a beat-in felon immediately. I'm gonna throw the Honor here as well. Maybe try and give this a little bit of Annie, but I feel like Annie on this hole, I always dig it in, so I might just try and throw it flat down the left side. Ooh, yeah. Oh no, okay. Made it up there. So typically my shot on this hole, just for you guys to see, is a bear, which is a 8.6, negative 0.5, 2.5. But this one's pretty beat in, and I just throw it flat down the middle, and it pans a little bit left, if I can do this right for y'all, and then settles down by the basket. Gosh, go in. So sick. So freaking sick, dude. Okay, so wow, these actually have putts. So the Honor is right here. Didn't come as far right as I thought it did. See if we can catch this one. Yes, sir. See if we can catch this felon. Oh, that's right side. That was bad. That one felt weird when I released it. All right, and then the bear, which obviously I'm not doing the video on, is right here. So I'm happy that I finally have my shot on this, because I always went between backhand, forehand. Bear is nasty. Honor did good. Felon flat though, that's crazy how far that pushed up here. All right, so the long tee on this hole is pretty brutal. It's 332. I think what I'm gonna try and do, the reason that I say it's brutal is because of this tree in the middle here. It can just be tough. So I'm gonna aim at the tree in the middle flat with the felon, hope that I go to the left of it, and then it should be able to push all the way down there for me. And that's probably something similar as to what I'll do with the Honor as well. Oh, yes. Get off of me. So, I mean, I'm just saying, that was pretty freaking ridiculous. Honor now. Oh, come on, get stable. No trees? Bro, what? Both of those just flew so good. Both of those just flew so good. Now I'm gonna go bear down the right side because it's more understable. Stable up, stable up, stable up. That could have got a flare. That was sick, dude. That felt really good. Okay, I don't see where the bear is. It might have filtered through and gone around the back. Y'all, this Honor, sick. Like I'm telling y'all, this is a tough hole, man. All right, so there's the Honor. The felon is right here, which makes sense. Then it would come up a little bit more to the right. Michael. Okay. Oh man, that sucks. So the bear filtered through. This basket's kind of leaning. All right. So hey, the Honor there, and I'm telling you, oh, this is a tough birdie from back there. Okay, so this hole right here is the only par 5 on the course, and this should be a great hole to see how these things fly again. Okay, so I am aiming straight down the middle here. I'm gonna throw the felon flat. If this was any other felon, I would throw it on Anhyzer because it would not be able to push that far straight. But this felon is pushing very straight for us. I honestly even feel like I could aim left and throw this thing on Anhyzer, but we're gonna try and give it a flat release right down the middle. As a bee flies in my face. Extremely poor timing. That's not in a bad spot, but that's just annoying. Annoying, what are you doing? Okay, the Honor, try and throw, same way. Flat down the middle, and it should push straight before it turns. Oh gosh, that thing flies so good. Oh, what the heck was that roll? I even went a little bit deep with that. Man, okay. All right, so we got incredibly lucky here with how far this pushed forward. But this would still be like a big forehand shot. So I'll throw the forehand shot with a different disc, and then I'll show you guys what I would do for the escape. We're gonna take our Destiny here. This is my bomber forehand disc now. And I'm going to throw it standstill with some Annie down the right side. Michael. Turned that over so much, didn't give it enough air. All right, now let's pretend that we were right here, and we will throw the escape, because this is a perfect time for us to try and mess around with the escape, learn it a little bit more. Ends with a gap here, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna aim at the tree on the left side of the gap down there with a little bit of Annie, and it should just make this kind of push straight, honestly. Didn't give that any Annie. Maybe a little bit, but I mean, that was sick. Like, I already love that disc, and I've only thrown it maybe 10 times. All right, so the Honor here, let's see how a high Annie with this felon will work. I think that it'll actually come in and land flat in the fairway down there, which would be pretty sick. Get flat? Man, I feel like I'm so close to figuring out the angle on that. All right, so the felon landed in the middle here. The escape is up there in a pretty good spot. I'm gonna try and get this destiny to work again. Give it some high ante, and honestly, it should carry all the way down there towards the basket for me. Oh. Well, all right, so we're gonna switch to playing the escape now. Okay, so from here, honestly, the felon or the honor aren't like the play, really. I think there's two options for me. I think the options are throwing my bounty flat through this gap and it'll turn. So we'll give that a little look here. Oh, Michael, hold it. That was the wrong gap. And then throwing my bear kind of high, and it should pan all the way there. Is it stabling? It's getting stable. I didn't throw that hard enough. My arm is starting to get tired with all these friggin' forehand shots that I'm throwing. All right, so this is the bounty shot. I need to be out here putting. I feel like my throws have been really good lately. I just need to get a little bit more consistent with my putt again. Dead center. Good putt. Everything was right on that. And again, nice. All right, now there's a group of 4 people in front of me. I think they're new-ish to disc golf because they got here a long time ago and are taking their time, but I'm happy they're out here learning this game that we all love. So I'm gonna skip the 2 water holes anyways, just because I don't want to risk losing these discs I'm doing a video on. So we'll skip over to the other side. All right, y'all. That's gonna be it out here. I skipped the last 2 holes, like I said, over water and everything. I really like the discs, I'm gonna be honest. I think the escape is gonna stay in my bag the most, just because I've thrown them before in the past, but never really committed to them. So I think the escape is gonna stay in my bag the most of all of these discs, because I've needed a little bit longer of a disc than the Stag, and I think once I break it in, it's gonna fly very similar to how my Stag flies, and I'm stoked about that. It also feels good and it looks good. The honor feels really good for forehands, feels good for backhands. It fits my hand really well. It reminds me a little bit of the Bear or like an Explorer, something along those lines. Which is a disc that I don't necessarily need in my bag right now because I have my Bear and whatnot. So I do like it. It is a good disc. If you are in need of a disc that fits that spot, you got this right here. This Orbit Felon, it's so interesting. I want to get used to it because it feels so freaking good. It's just hard for my mind as somebody who's thrown felons for years to treat this like a felon, because it isn't like a felon. Does that mean it's a bad disc? No, it's a freaking good disc. And I just have to get used to switching my mind from thinking this is a felon to understanding that it's like a beat-in freaking felon. And there's a spot for that. So do I think this could fit in my bag? Yeah. I don't think it would be a tee shot disc. I think it's gonna be more of like a Annie type felon usage, if you will. But that's gonna be it, guys. Thank you for hanging out as I drop that. Appreciate it. I'm amped. Hope y'all are doing good too. I just shot 11 down out here right before this. So I'm feeling good. I'm excited for more tournaments and stuff. Thanks for hanging out. See you guys in the next one.